Welcome to Daily English Dialogues channel. University life. For many, it's this amazing time of discovery, but let's be honest, for a new student, it can feel pretty intense, like you're thrown in the deep end.
Oh, absolutely. It's an overload right from day one. Acronyms flying everywhere, bureaucracy.
Right. And the jargon. Trying to register for classes can feel like you need a special decoder ring just to figure out the basics. You're just expected to know how everything works. The administration, the money side.
It is, well, it's almost designed to be overwhelming, isn't it? And you're immediately in this very transactional space. You need a specific kind of language to even function. And our source material really shows that. We've got everything from, student chats about desperately trying to get into a class to these really formal university documents laying out super strict rules and, well, very technical terms.
And that's exactly our mission today. We want to give you, the learner, a shortcut through all that. We're going to boil down the essential stuff from these dialogues and docs. Not just define the jargon, but help you master it. Decode those confusing registration systems, figure out the finances, and this is key, really absorb the advanced English phrases and idioms people use in these situations.
We want to get past just knowing the words.
Exactly. Towards actual fluency, so you can talk confidently about these complex things in this new academic world.
Precision is so important here, and our sources, they cover different places: ESU in the US, National Taiwan University. It gives a good sense of how things work, or sometimes don't work, globally. And the jargon is everywhere. Just look at the intro materials: QPA, Quality Point Average, FIRBA, that Privacy Act.
All right, the one about who sees your grades.
Exactly, you have to know these. It's like the price of admission. So the aim is fluency in context, knowing how to talk to a registrar, a bursar, anyone, really.
Okay, let's dive into that chaos then, the registration maze. First hurdle, often the most stressful, just getting your classes. It's not just picking what you like, it's this battle against the clock, against schedule clashes, against, limited spots. We heard it in that dialogue, right? Terry, trying to get his chemistry lab, finds out his section has only 10 spots left. His roommate can't get in.
Yeah, and his reaction, rats.
It just rats. Perfect.
It really captures that feeling, doesn't it? That high-stakes frustration. Because registration isn't just signing up, it's strategy. It needs serious planning, especially at big universities.
Yeah.
The NTU and ESU stuff confirms it. You absolutely need to prepare.
Okay, so besides just being early, what kind of prep are we talking about? How do you avoid that rats moment?
Oh, it's pretty meticulous administrative prep, actually. First, you've got to read the guidelines, like their sacred texts, identify required courses versus electives, use the online system NOL at NTU.
Okay.
But the really complex part, especially at NTU, is this multi-stage process. You can't just, click and grab your class.
Kelly Sage, walk us through that. It sounds intentionally complicated.
It probably is, yeah. To manage resources, I guess. It starts with pre-assign. The system basically guesses some required foundation courses and sticks them in your schedule.
Whoa, wait. It auto-enrolls you?
Kind of, yeah.
Well, if you're a transfer student or have AP credits.
Then you need to be super on the ball and drop those pre-assigned courses immediately. If you don't, they just sit there blocking space and time slots you need. It can be a real pain.
Okay, so be ready to drop things right away. Then what?
Then you hit stage 1 and stage 2 pre-registration. This is where you rank your desired courses, your desire order.
Okay.
And this is where the strategy comes in. If two classes clash, like Terry's 1 p.m. problem, or you have different sections of the same course, you have to prioritize. Which one do you want more? The system uses your list. So getting in is kind of a calculated risk.
So you have to predict conflicts and plan backups before you even submit anything.
Exactly. And it doesn't stop there. Once this semester starts, you've got the add drop period, usually the first couple of weeks.
Right.
And then there's even a third-week manual course add for really unusual cases needing a professor's actual signature, like physical ink on paper.
Old school.
Totally. But here's the absolute killer deadline you need to know. The 4th week course selection confirmation.
Okay, confirmation.
The NTU source is crystal clear. Miss this final confirmation, and whatever the computer says, that's it. There is absolutely no appeal for remedy.
Wow. No appeal for remedy. That sounds final.
It is final. That formal language is a huge warning sign. Understanding that kind of phrasing is crucial.
Definitely need to highlight that one. The system is rigid, and it's all on you, the student. Which brings us back to Terry's problem. He had to drop his first lab choice. Section 22, because it clashed with Ethology 263.
Which was MWF, 1 to 2 o'clock.
Right. And there's our next bit of critical code.
Yeah.
The schedule abbreviations. Simple, but you got to know them.
Absolutely fundamental.
So let's just spell it out. MWF, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Uh-huh.
And TR, just Tuesday, Thursday. Sometimes you see just T for Tuesday or R for Thursday if it's once a week.
Right. Knowing those few letters could be the difference between getting that extra hour of sleep or being stuck with Carrie's 7:45 a.m. option.
Ouch. Okay, so beyond scheduling, what else stops you? You mentioned holds.
Yes, the dreaded hold status. Before you even think about MWF or TR, you need to check for holds. The University of Leeds info gives good examples.
Like what?
Unpaid fees, missing documents, transcripts, maybe health forms. Or if you're coming back after medical leave, you might need a doctor's fit to return note.
Oh, okay.
If there's a hold, the system just stops you. Full stop.
So the student advice is clear any holds before you even attempt to register. You need a clear path before you can, hit the books.
Exactly. Hit the books, start studying hard. That idiom fits perfectly. But speaking of studying hard, we need to talk about how that work is measured. The credit hour.
Right, the credit hour. What does it actually mean?
Well, the general rule is 1 credit hour usually means about 15 hours of your time over the whole term. That includes class time, studying, assignments, everything. So a typical 3-credit course, that's 45 hours total commitment, whether it's in-person, online, what they call distance education, or DE, or some mix, a hybrid format. You have to treat it like an official measure of your weekly workload.
And all that work adds up to your QPA, right? The Quality Points Awarded System, which gives you your GPA, the big academic score.
Yes, the QPA leading to the GPA. This is the math that really matters academically, and it's often a bit confusing at first.
Let's break it down.
Okay. Each letter grade gets points for every credit hour, usually equal points, B3, C2, D1.
Got it.
To get your GPA, you multiply the points for the grade by the number of credits for that course. Add up all those points, that's your total quality points, then divide that total by the total number of credits you attempted.
Okay, let's use their example. 4 3-credit courses.
Right.
3 A's and 1 B.
Right. So 3 courses by 3 credits by 4 points for an A, plus 1 course by 3 credits by 3 points for a B. That's 36 plus 9, that's 45 quality points.
Okay, 45 points.
Then you divide those 45 points by the total credits attempted, which was 4 courses times 3 credits, so 12 credits. 45 divided by 12 equals
3.75. That's your GPA.
exactly a 3.75 GPA. Understanding that calculation is vital.
And that GPA, that number, opens doors, right? Like at NTU, a high GPA, say 3.9 or above, lets you raise your credit limit from 25 up to 31.
Precisely. It shows you can handle the workload.
So, key vocabulary here for the learner. Register or sign up for a class, manage your class schedule, track your credit hours, and understand your QPA GPA.
And let's not forget the attitude. Remember Cecile calling Robert an eager beaver?
Yes, for being early to study.
That idiom is classic campus talk. It means someone super enthusiastic, maybe a bit too keen, but definitely hardworking. You kind of need to be an eager beaver to keep up.
True. Okay, so you've registered, you're hitting the books. Now you need to understand who's who in this huge university machine. The structure.
Right, because you're not just taking classes, you're part of this big layered system.
Yeah.
The ESU chart gives a good picture, top level. President, vice presidents, they run the whole show. But for academics, the key player is the provost.
The provost, that's like the chief academic officer.
Exactly. The provost sets the academic direction, formulates the rules, the policies, figures out how the university achieves, academic excellence. They oversee the deans and department chairs. Think of them as setting the overall academic strategy.
Okay, and below the provost.
You have the deans. Each dean heads up a college, which is a group of related departments. Like ESU has a College of Arts and Sciences, College of Health Sciences, and so on. The dean runs that whole college.
Got it. College dean.
Then you zoom into the specific subject area, the department. That's run by a department chair, usually a professor who also teaches, but they manage that department.
What do they manage specifically?
They decide which courses get offered each semester, supervise the faculty in that department. Basically, the chair controls the content, what you learn.
Okay. Content versus rules.
Exactly, because the registrar controls the rules of the game. The registrar's office handles scheduling, keeps all the student records, transcripts, grades. Need official proof you're a student? Go to the registrar.
Knowing that chain of command is crucial if you run into trouble or need special permission for something like getting into a full class helps you know who to talk to when you're in hot water.
Definitely. But how does this structure actually talk to you, the student? That's where the tech comes in. It's essential.
Okay, the software platforms.
These are your daily dashboards. The provost might make the policy, but the tech is how it reaches you.
So first up, the classroom website.
That's usually something like D2L, which stands for Desire to Learn. It's the website for each specific class. Super important.
Why super important?
It's where you find the syllabus. That's basically the contract for the course rules, assignments, grading, required books, everything. Plus, grades get posted there. Sometimes quizzes are taken online, extra readings. It's your home base for each course.
Okay, D2L for classes. Then there's the main portal, like my shoe, often built on Banner.
Right, the portal. That's your main gateway to everything administrative. It's the login that gets you to the really crucial planning tools. And we absolutely have to highlight DegreeWorks.
DegreeWorks. Why is that one so key?
Honestly, it could save you thousands of dollars and months of time. It tracks your progress towards graduation, showing exactly which requirements you've met and what's left.
Ah, so you don't accidentally take classes you don't need?
Precisely. You avoid spending tuition and time on, say, extra electives when you still need a specific science course. It helps ensure you're not cutting corners by taking the wrong path. And then there's Warriorfish.
Maybe. It's basically a communication tool. It links you up with your whole support network, teachers, mentors, counselors, helps keep everyone on the same wavelength about how you're doing.
Makes sense. We mentioned FERPA earlier, the Privacy Act. We should define that properly. Yes, FERPA, Federal Educational Rights and Privacy Act. Crucial law. It means your academic records are private. Your parents can't just call up the registrar and ask about your grades.
Unless you've given specific written permission.
Exactly. The university treats you as an independent adult, legally speaking, regardless of your age.
Okay. Beyond the tech and admin, there are people there to help, right?
Mm-hmm.
Support systems.
Definitely. Often covered by those fees you pay. The counseling center is a big one. Mental health professionals for anxiety, stress, depression. Anything related to adjusting to uni life, given the pressures, it's invaluable.
Good to know. And for academic challenges.
You've got disability services, often called something like OASIS, Office of Accessible Services, individualized for students. Key point here for the learner. Unlike school, in university, you have to self-identify.
Meaning
You have to go to them proactively and provide documentation of your disability to get accommodations like extra time on tests. The responsibility is entirely on you.
Right. That's a big shift.
Yeah.
What about advisors?
You'll usually have a faculty advisor, a professor in your major. They help with choosing classes, planning your degree path, maybe finding research opportunities, and definitely use their office hours.
Office hours are those just for asking questions about homework?
Not at all. There's set times professors must be available for students. Yes, for course help, but also for broader academic and career advice. It's prime time to connect with them.
Okay. And mentors, tutors.
A mentor is more informal, maybe a faculty member or an older student who acts as a guide and advocate. And tutoring centers offer academic help, often peer-to-peer, drop-in sessions, small groups. Many have a dedicated writing center too, which is super helpful for papers.
All this support aims for clarity, but sometimes things are still confusing. If a policy or assignment just doesn't make sense, you might say, this is clear as mud.
Yes, a great idiom for total confusion. But hopefully, when you're talking with your advisor, planning things out, it clicks. Then you can say, okay, now we're on the same wavelength.
Meaning you understand each other, you're thinking alike.
And if you completely agree, you see eye to eye. It's about precise communication. We mentioned the syllabus. We also need prerequisite, that course you must pass before taking a higher level one.
Right. Can't skip those.
And the dreaded incomplete grade, the I. If something major happens and you can't finish a course, you might get an I, but you only have a limited time, usually up to a year, to finish the work.
If you don't,
It automatically turns into an E, a failing grade, which can seriously tank your GPA, so you have to follow up on incompletes.
okay, let's shift gears. The topic that makes everyone nervous. Money. Paying for all this. University can seriously cost an arm and a leg.
Oh, it really can. And looking at how different countries handle tuition is fascinating and kind of sobering. In the U.S., the numbers are stark, aren't they? Around $10,000 a year for in-state public, but jumping way up, maybe $35,000 or more for private, and that's before room and board.
Oh, yeah.
Then you look at places like China or India. China supposedly taps tuition at 25% of the cost, but with huge expansion, fees often go higher.
Right.
And India might have low official tuition, but then piles on these massive sundry fees, mandatory charges for housing, sports, whatever, that make the real cost much higher. So upfront fees can be deceptive.
That definitely sounds like a challenge if you don't have the cash right away. But some places try to deal with that, don't they? With deferred payment systems?
Yeah, that's where Australia and England come in. It's a different approach. They basically say, okay, you contribute, but you pay later. Students take out income contingent loans like HECS, HALP in Australia, meaning you only start paying it back once you graduate and start earning above a certain amount.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the English model? You said it links fees to access.
It's quite interesting. There's a fee cap around £9,000 now, but, and this is the key part, if a university wants to charge that maximum, they must have an access agreement with a body called OFA,
OFF.
Office for Fair Access. This agreement basically forces the uni to prove it's actively trying to recruit and support students from lower income backgrounds or underrepresented groups.
So it's trying to balance getting funding with making sure it's still accessible.
Exactly. Trying to get the best of both worlds, you could say. High funding, but with strings attached for fairness. It's a very different philosophy than just charging everyone the same high price up front.
Then you have the complete opposite, fee-free places like Norway or Brazil.
Well, fee-free needs a bit of an asterisk. Yes, the government covers tuition, but students still have to pay for registration, books, living costs, which can be really significant.
Right, not totally free then.
And in Brazil, even though public uni is tuition-free, it's incredibly competitive to get in, and the system still ends up being quite socially elite. Data shows most spots go to students from wealthier families. So just removing tuition doesn't automatically fix deeper inequality issues.
Which leads to another approach, the progressive or sliding scale model, charging based on ability to pay.
This is where the University of California system is a really interesting case. They brought in progressive tuition. Higher income families pay more.
And that extra money goes
directly into need-based financial aid. UC earmarks about a third of its tuition income just for supporting lower-income students. And it worked, apparently. It kept the net cost flat for students needing aid while asking more from those who could afford it. It shows that higher tuition can coexist with access if you design the aid system carefully.
Okay, bringing it back home for a U.S. student needing help. The F of ESSA, that's the big one.
Absolutely non-negotiable. The free application for federal student aid. You need it for federal loans, state grants, most university scholarships. Fill it out accurately and on time.
And it's crucial to know who handles what money-wise at the university, isn't it? The bursar versus financial aid.
Oh, yes. Mixing these two up causes headaches. The bursar is the billing office. They send the bills, take payments, issue refunds, handle collections if you owe money.
Okay, bursar bills.
Right. The financial aid office handles the FSA, decides if you're eligible for loans or scholarships, and actually disperses the aid money. Question about a charge, call the bursar. Question about your loan status, call financial aid.
Got it. Keep them straight. Now, what about those costs that aren't tuition? The hidden extras.
Yeah, those mandatory activity and facility use fees. You pay them even if you never step foot in the gym. They add up. And combined with rising rent and food costs, it leads to a really serious problem. Food insecurity.
Students literally not having enough money for food.
Sadly, yes. It's a huge issue on many campuses. Students skipping meals to pay rent or cover a fee. This kind of pressure inevitably leads to students speaking out, like Robert and Cecile talking about that tuition hike protest.
Right. Cecile said the increase was the last straw.
Because the economy's so bad, students don't have any money. That phrase, the last straw, that final thing that makes you react, it perfectly captures that feeling of being pushed too far financially.
So how do universities respond when students are really struggling?
Well, some are trying. The Alamo College's district had that Keep Learning plan, a big relief effort, included a clean slate initiative wiping out up to $500 in old student debt. Imagine the relief.
Wow, that's significant.
And they slashed fees for payment plans. Crucially, they used Federal CARES Act money to tackle the digital divide.
The gap in tech access.
Exactly. They spent millions on laptops and internet hotspots for students in poorer communities who couldn't otherwise participate in online learning. A direct attempt to address those systemic barriers.
That's really proactive. So the language around money is vital. We used cost an arm and a leg, the last straw. We should also practice things like break the bank for something super expensive.
No.
Or talking about trying to live within her means, spending carefully. And the accounting terms, Being in the black means you have money, no debt.
Versus being in the red, which means you're in debt. Useful for tracking your own finances, too.
Definitely. Okay, let's move from the financial stress to the emotional and social side of things, which is also pretty challenging.
No kidding. University is tough emotionally. We use idioms to describe that physical feeling of stress, right? Like having butterflies in my stomach before a big presentation. Or breaking out in a cold sweat before a huge exam that feels like half your grade depends on it.
And that stress often comes directly from the complexity we've been talking about, worrying got a hold, that NTU deadline, tuition payments.
Yeah.
And the sources warn against bad coping mechanisms, like pulling all-nighters.
Or cramming, trying to learn everything the night before. The classic mistake.
It doesn't really work, does it? So the answer is perseverance.
Yeah.
Planning. Summed up by that old saying, no pain, no gain.
Right. The hard work pays off.
And when you push through fatigue and find that burst of energy to finish studying, that's your second wind.
Ah, nice one.
If you manage all the bureaucracy and pressure without freaking out, you get the QPA right, you snag that last lab spot, you're being cool as a cucumber.
Calm under pressure.
And if you're generally healthy, managing stress, eating okay, you're as fit as a fiddle. Good physical shape.
And when you've just had enough studying for one day, whether it's late or not, you can just call it a day.
Perfect way to signal stop work now. I like that one. Me too. Okay, beyond studying, there's the whole campus culture. Greek life fraternities, sororities.
And traditions like homecoming in the fall,
Yeah.
usually built around a big football game, alumni visiting.
Yeah. But the social side isn't always fun and games. There can be
Right.
conflict, competition, even betrayal. Lots of idioms there.
Oh, definitely. Especially in competitive academic settings. Like, if someone takes your idea in a group project and presents it as their own, they're stealing my thunder.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Right. Or if a supposed friend betrays your trust, maybe tells a professor something you said in confidence, that's stabbing someone in the back.
Harsh.
It is. And then you have people who try to get by with minimal effort, doing shoddy work. They're cutting corners, which usually lands them in hot water with professors or the administration. Deep trouble.
And dealing with all the feelings that come with this, if you just feel generally unwell, maybe stressed or slightly sick, you're feeling under the weather.
And when the pressure builds up, you might need to blow off some steam, right? Let out that frustration. But there's a line, isn't there, between healthy venting and just complaining.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Well, venting is usually seen as, okay, a necessary release, maybe letting off steam to a friend, it's temporary. But someone who complains constantly, maybe without good reason, might be called a whiner or even a crybaby.
Sounds a bit childish.
It implies immaturity, yeah. And often the informal advice someone might give a whiner is to, well, man up or toughen up. Stop complaining, face the problem. Can sound harsh, but that's the gist.
Okay, and last bit of social navigation.
Yeah.
Secrets. Inevitable when people are living and working closely.
Totally. We have great idioms for secrets. If you accidentally reveal something confidential, oops, the cat is out of the bag, or you spill the beans.
Uh-oh.
But if you want to reassure someone you won't tell, you say, your secret is safe with me. Builds trust. And if you and a friend just get each other, always think alike. They're on the same wavelength.
Nice. So to wrap up these character and effort idioms, if you need to tackle a big problem decisively, like dealing with NTU's bureaucracy, you take the bull by the horns.
Yes, act boldly. To make a good impression, say on a professor, you put my best foot forward.
Show your best side.
And ideally, if you spot a potential problem early, a schedule clash, maybe issues in a group project, you want to nip this in the bud, stop it before it gets worse. Mastering all these really makes your English sound natural and well advanced.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground today. This has been a real deep dive. So for you, the learner, hopefully you now have this fantastic toolkit for navigating university. You've got the specific terms, provost, bursar, QPA.
The tech tools like DegreeWorks, D2L.
Right. And an understanding of those global financial models, upfront, deferred, progressive. Plus, insights into things like student advocacy and fighting the digital divide.
Yeah, seeing how places like Alamo colleges responded to student hardship was quite powerful.
Definitely. And most importantly, you've got this whole suite of advanced English expressions. Now, you can say a tough class was a piece of cake.
Or call a sudden fee hike the last straw.
You can talk about trying to live within your means, agree with someone that you see eye to eye.
Or promise a friend your secret is safe with me. This vocabulary, this range, it's designed to stop you feeling overwhelmed, to give you real food for thought as you plan your academic path.
Exactly. But before we finish, let's just circle back to that core tension our sources brought up. This clash between the ideals of education and the, frankly, difficult financial reality.
Right. One person says the high cost is well worth it for the quality. Another just calls that bullshit, pointing out how saving money can paradoxically hurt your financial aid.
That paradox, that's the real elephant in the room, isn't it? It raises this huge question. How can universities really fulfill their mission to boost social mobility when their own systems, financial aid, rising costs are so incredibly complex and often seem to work against access?
It's a massive challenge. And ultimately, for you, the learner, armed with all this knowledge, the goal isn't just to survive the system, it's to make sure that huge investment of time, effort, and money actually pays off.
Hmm.
That you leverage this education to achieve what it promises, maybe start making some bank, find that better career, achieve that mobility. That has to be the end game.
A powerful thought to end on. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.